Hello everyone, this is your host, Dr. Oshanai. You are welcome to this power-packed podcast of Destiny by Divine Design. This podcast will light a fire in your spirit and fuel your purpose. This is where dynamic teaching meets real-life strategies and unshakable encouragement, which is designed to push you into the life you were born to live. If you are ready to grow deeper, rise higher, and show up stronger in your faith and in your calling and in your career, you are in the right place. This is the space to get equipped, get inspired, and get moving toward the destiny crafted by God for your life. So grab your seat, open your heart, and let's get started. It's time to unlock your potential, live boldly, and make maximum impact. In this episode, titled Destiny Decisions, A Man's Blueprint for Choosing a Spouse, I will explore the defining decision regarding what attracts and informs men in the choice of a spouse. As you are aware, the woman a man marries can either multiply his greatness or limit his future. From time immemorial, men have always been guided, either consciously or unconsciously, by certain factors in deciding who they would marry. Some of these are physical, others are emotional, and the deepest ones are spiritual. So before we dive in to uncover what truly attracts and informs men in the choice of a spouse, as well as how these decisions can shape their destiny, I would like to first and foremost lay down one important truth. This truth is the bedrock. Without it, every principle I will be sharing will be empty talk with no lasting power. It is therefore very important to set the stage right and then build from there. This important truth is that marriage is not a sprint. It is a marathon. This means marriage is not about speed, it's about lasting the distance together. Anyone can start fast, but true success in marriage is about finishing strong. Again, I declare to you, marriage is a lifelong marathon. It is not about how quickly you begin, but how faithfully you continue. The strength of a marriage is proven not in the first mile, but in the miles that follow, because a successful marriage is built mile by mile, choice by choice, and day by day. The Holy Bible says in Proverbs chapters 18 verse 22, "The man who finds a wife finds a treasure and receives favor from the Lord." But I cannot overemphasize the fact that passion may spark the start of a marriage, but it is perseverance, commitment, and teamwork that see it through to finishing well. Now that we know this important truth, which is the bedrock and the foundation of today's podcast, I encourage you to let this important truth stay with you now and always. So, let's get started and discover the 3 principles or criteria used by most Bible-believing and non-Bible believing men in selecting their spouse. Number 1, physical appearance. From the foundation of the earth until today, as revealed from Genesis to Revelation, most men have always noticed physical appearance first when selecting a life partner. It is not a secret. Men are generally visual by nature, meaning men are naturally wired or drawn to what they see. It is part of how God designed them. The first thing that catch a man's attention in a potential spouse are often visual. By these, I am referring to the natural visual attraction of how a woman looks, how she carries herself, her smile, her presence, and even the way she dresses. These things spark interest and create that first connection. At the heart of most men is the longing for a spouse they can take pride in, a true partner they can walk with through the journey of life and joyfully present to the world as their own. But along with this longing often comes an insecurity, and that is the hidden fear of losing her to the admiration or pursuit of other men. The Bible gives several examples of men who openly admired and appreciated their wives' physical beauty. Firstly, in Genesis chapter 2, verse 23 to 25, the Bible talked about Adam appreciating Eve's beauty. Adam's poetic exclamation when he first saw Eve shows not only spiritual recognition, but also physical admiration. He said, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh." His delight expresses both intimacy and appreciation of her form. Likewise, in Esther chapter 2, verse 7 and 17, Esther was lovely in form and features. The Bible specifically describes her as being fair and beautiful in verse 7. No wonder King Xerxes admired her beauty so much that he chose her as queen over up and above all the other virgins, because her physical attractiveness immediately won his favor and approval. But here is the key. Physical beauty may open the door, but it cannot sustain the journey of marriage. Meaning, attraction may light the flame or start the relationship, but wisdom, alignment, values, and character keep the fire burning. I boldly say to you again, appearance opens the door, but character is what keeps the door open. It is a harsh truth, but when a woman's physical beauty fades, some men look for a new spouse. This happens because these men never truly understood the important truth of what marriage is about in the first place, as I mentioned at the beginning of today's podcast. Remember, marriage is not a temporary arrangement based on looks, passion, or fleeting feelings. Instead, marriage is a covenant, a partnership, and a journey of growth together. Marriage is also not a sprint, but a lifelong marathon. Therefore, every God-fearing man must always remember this important truth. The woman you choose is not just a reflection of beauty. She is a partner for life, a multiplier of destiny, and a co-laborer in God's purpose. Understanding this is what makes your marriage and your destiny unshakable. To every God-fearing woman, you must not build your marriage on physical beauty alone, because you may be setting yourself up for failure by so doing. We are all growing older every day. No matter how much makeup you apply, how carefully you groom yourself, or the cosmetic procedures you may undergo, physical beauty is temporary. It fades with time. But a lasting marriage must be built on what will stand the test of time. And so, alongside physical appearance, I encourage you to build your character, your faith, your emotional maturity, your integrity, and your alignment with God's purpose. These are the qualities that endure, strengthen a relationship, and make a marriage unshakable. Therefore, I encourage you once again to invest in what will last, not just what looks good, by building a foundation that can carry your marriage through every season of life. In my next podcast, I will go even deeper, taking you through exactly what men look for in a woman's appearance when choosing a spouse as revealed in the Holy Bible. The truths I will share with you in my next podcast will blow your mind, because they are probably things you have never been told by spiritual leaders, because many of them shy away from talking about them, thinking they sound worldly. But here is the reality. These principles are timeless. They are biblical and are rooted in God's design. No wonder the Bible says, "Buy the truth and sell it not." So get ready and be on the lookout for my next podcast, because what you will learn will change the way you understand attraction, selection, and destiny in marriage. Don't miss it. The second criteria used by men in selecting their spouse is emotional attraction. Many men, consciously or unconsciously, are drawn to women through emotional attraction, meaning it is not just about looks, but though appearance sparks the first connection between a man and a potential spouse, however, the way she makes the man feel will sustain the relationship. Her warmth, her kindness, her laughter, her confidence, and the way she responds to him emotionally can create a powerful bond. Emotional connection is the spark that pulls a man in and makes him want to invest in a relationship. Emotions are powerful. They can inspire us, excite us, and even move us to action. That is why many men initially choose a spouse who makes them feel good or less lonely in the moment. By this, I am referring to the fact that many men prefer a spouse who gives that initial spark or causes butterflies in their stomach. This fleeting emotion, passion, or excitement can often create a love is blind effect, thereby clouding men's judgment or make them lose their senses, at least temporarily. So men, be warned. The truth is this: feelings rise and fall because emotions are temporary, but marriage is permanent. Choosing a spouse based only on emotions is like building a house on sand. It may look beautiful for a while, but when the storm comes, it won't stand. Marriage requires more than sparks. It requires wisdom, character, and alignment. Build your choice on what lasts, not just what excites. Samson and Delilah are one of the clearest biblical examples of a man choosing a spouse or life partner based mainly on emotional and physical attraction rather than wisdom or God's guidance. In the book of Judges, chapters 14, verse 1 to 3 of the Holy Bible, Samson saw a Philistine woman and insisted to his parents, "Get her for me, for she pleases me well." His focus was entirely on outward appearance and immediate desire. This set the pattern of his relationships, which are driven more by sight and emotions than discernment. Sometime later, in Judges chapter 16 verse 4, he fell in love with her in the valley of Sorek, which emphasizes his emotional involvement, meaning he fell in love with Delilah but ignored the lack of alignment in values, in purpose, and spiritual covenant, and it led to betrayal and loss. To every woman listening, don't say "I do" to a man just because you sparked an initial attraction or caused a brief thrill in his life. That first spark, though exciting, is temporary. When it fades or doesn't happen consistently, some men may look elsewhere if they don't understand the true meaning of commitment and marriage. Marriage is not about sparks or fleeting feelings. It is about endurance, loyalty, and shared purpose. A lasting union is built on character, values, spiritual alignment, and emotional depth. I encourage you to choose a man who sees your worth beyond the momentary thrill. Someone who will stay for your heart, your character, and your destiny together. And to every man who is listening, don't let your emotions make the choice for you. Let wisdom guide you. Let discernment direct you. Choose not just with your heart, but with your head and your spirit. Emotions are powerful, but they are temporary. When they fade, it is commitment, shared values, and a united purpose that will keep a marriage strong. Marriage is more than feelings, my friend. It is a partnership built on principles, on faith, and on destiny. So therefore, make your choice with vision, not just with passion. The third and last criteria I want to talk about that most men use in selecting their spouse is pressure from others, otherwise called external influences. Note that pressure from others can heavily influence the way men choose a spouse, sometimes in ways that are not aligned with destiny. Family, friends, or society often have opinions about who a man should marry, what she should look like, her social status, her wealth, or even her background. While guidance can be helpful, too much pressure can cloud judgment and push a man to make decisions based on approval rather than wisdom, prayer, and alignment with God's purpose. The danger is this though. When you choose to please others rather than listen to God, it can lead to a marriage that looks good on paper but lacks true compatibility, purpose, and long-term fulfillment. Let me quickly touch on a few external influences that have been shaping men's choices in selecting a spouse from generation to generation. Number one is family expectations. Sometimes parents, siblings, and extended family often have opinions about who a man should marry, and this is often influenced by cultural background, family status, religion, or even personality traits. While well-intentioned, this can create pressure to prioritize approval over divine guidance. Number two is peer influence. Sometimes friends and social cycles can shape preferences. Men may feel compelled to choose a spouse who fits in with their friends or impresses their peers rather than someone aligned with their values and purpose. Number three, societal standards and media. It is a known fact that movies, social media, and popular culture often create unrealistic ideals of beauty, success, or personality. Men may unconsciously compare potential partners to these standards rather than focusing on character, faith, and destiny alignment. Number four, career or financial pressure. Sometimes men consider a woman's career, wealth, or social connections as a major factor because of societal expectations or perceived stability, instead of focusing on long-term compatibility, shared values, and spiritual alignment. Number five is religious or cultural norms. Even within faith communities, cultural or religious expectations can softly and gently dictate who a man should marry. While guidance from spiritual leaders can be helpful, blind conformity to this guidance can sometimes override personal conviction and divine leading. Number six is fear of loneliness or social judgment. By this, I am referring to the fear of being single or facing societal judgment or pressure to conform to timelines like marrying by a certain age. This can inevitably push men to make rushed or unwise choices. And lastly is number 7, past experiences or comparisons. Sometimes men are influenced by comparisons to previous relationships, siblings' marriages, or friends' choices, which can distort what they truly need in a spouse. In closing, I would like to say that while guidance and counsel are valuable, my encouragement to you is this: let your final choice of who to marry be guided not by pressure or mere emotion, but by wisdom, by prayer, and by alignment with God's purpose. Remember that destiny always speaks through discernment, spiritual alignment, and a clear spirit-led vision of the future. So I encourage you to pause, think, and choose your spouse wisely and prayerfully. My friend, you cannot and must not fail in fulfilling your God-divine destiny here on earth or beyond. Your choices today will shape your life, your legacy, and the impact you will leave for generations to come. And if you are already married and wrestling with regret, may the Lord strengthen you and turn things for good, for the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, as written in Proverbs chapters 21 verse 1. The criteria most men have used in choosing a spouse since creation are wide-ranging, and I've only touched a part of them in this episode. But I trust it has been a true eye-opener in informing you, guiding you, and helping to shape your life and destiny. Remember, choosing a spouse is never just about today, it is about tomorrow. It affects your legacy, your purpose, and your fulfillment in God's divine plan for your life. So, choose a destiny by God's divine design by choosing wisely and prayerfully. That is it for today's episode of Destiny by Divine Design, where purpose meets power and potential becomes reality. Remember, you weren't made to live on autopilot. Rather, you were handcrafted by God for impact, influence, and kingdom purpose. If today's message stirred something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Like it, share it, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future episodes. Every share helps us reach more purpose-driven listeners just like you. Stay connected, stay grounded, and stay ready, because your destiny isn't just a dream, it is a divine assignment. Join me in my next podcast when I will talk you through what men look for in a woman's appearance when choosing a spouse as revealed in the Holy Bible. Until then, keep living boldly, walking in faith, and pursuing the life you were born to live. I am Dr. Oshanaye, and this is Destiny by Divine Design. Stay safe, stay strong, and stay blessed.